going on. So I'm on my way. I was going to be on my way home, but I need to go to Walmart. And I'm hoping, I am really, really hoping that they have some pool shark. I let my daggone pool go green. And I'm like, I need to swim in my pool before the end of, well, we did do a couple of swimming, but I need to swim before the seasons start changing. So I need to add some shock and some chlorine in it and start working it. So y'all, I just had an amazing day at my new job. It I had so much fun. I can't even describe it. No, I'm going to describe it. I had so much fun. And one thing I know is that God, when he does things, he does it so big. The last company did not appreciate the girl, but the new company, y'all, they were serving us lobster. And it was just so much fun. It was like the people were just very nice, very inviting. The food was great. I felt like I was in camp. We had like a dance off against another management company. But when I tell you, I really, really enjoyed myself. This summer has been the most. I know y'all like, Mona, where have you been? I've been out here. When I tell you, I've been pushing to the max. Like, where can I start? So when I left my last position, I was doing, as you know, I'm a realtor. And I also got my own business, and I'm also a travel agent. I'm just the jack of all trades. But at the end of the day, I have to maintain my bills. And I have to tell y'all this testimony, right? So I'm like, okay, you know that the state, when you're on unemployment, they only give you but so much, right? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to do other stuff. So I was doing DoorDash. I was doing, what is that? What's that? What's the one with the blue? Amazon Prime. I was doing Instacart. I became like a platinum Instacarter. Like, I'm trying to tell you, I can go in the grocery store and pick you up some stuff real quick, okay? And I mean, I was just hitting it. But I'm going to tell you what was so funny about the whole situation. I'm glad that's over with. Number one, I've always been a humble person. But when you're serving people, whether you're delivering, you understand from a server's perspective. Because I've always ordered from Instacart and DoorDash and all that other stuff. And I'm going to say this. For those of you who don't tip, you all suck. But if you do tip, then hey, you got some class. I've always been a tipper. But anyway, so I have been doing that to maintain my household. And first you kind of go into this worry state, okay, how I'm going to do this. But when I look back at it, God set me up for the good. Like, he took me from one company that didn't appreciate me. And let me tell you what happened with the company. They went ahead and hired a manager, and he's going through it, stressed all the way out. Their numbers dropped. The people who did me wrong, they got demoted. And it all got back to me, and I said, wow. And the whole time I found that out when I was starting my new position. But that's not talk about my new position. So, one thing I learned about the real estate is that if the market has definitely changed. If you have somebody that's basically approved for $600,000, then yeah. But if the person is not approved, but for so much, it's really hard to find that house for them. And then a lot of folks that I was dealing with, they weren't qualified. Meantime, between time, you still got bills coming in, and unemployment is only paying you but so much. And of course, my situation. I got a man, my husband. You already know the situation, right? So I said, all right, mama got to do what mama got to do. The vehicle that I have, when I got this car, I think I had like maybe back in December, I think I may have like 3,000 miles on it. Mama I put work in this car. I said, if I'm going to pay the note on this thing, you going to put in work. Y'all, I got almost 50,000 miles on it. That's how much driving I did to make sure that stuff was coming in. And then when I look back at it, I made more than I was working full time, okay? And then I had prayed before that situation happened with my last position. I fasted, and I fasted, I think, for 21 days. And I asked God to put me in a better position that I can, take care of my family. And what I mean by fast, I did not eat anything. I'm not talking about some fruit fast or some, eat bread on this side. I fasted, okay? And I asked God to really, put me in a better position. And because I knew that other position, that other job, they just didn't appreciate me. But now they realized when I was gone, oh, daggone, we had no idea she was doing everything. But anywho, so God has set it up where when they let me go, and this is just my testimony that I just have to share. I don't care, I got to share it. When they let me go, they were like, you only got 2 weeks to use your medical and all of that other stuff. I made sure I got another implant done because, I pay good insurance. I pay like $500 a month for me and my daughter. I made sure Symphony got everything done. And then they only said, we only going to give you the money from like any vacation, which was basically nothing. You get your last paycheck on this day, and that's it. And I said, okay. And then I'm like, okay, Lord, what I'm going to do? But I was working in a different state, and they were taking money out of my check that they weren't supposed to. So, and I just got my HVAC system just went down, and then the money from the state finally came. I was able to pay my HVAC system completely. And I'm gonna tell you how God worked that out. Contractor was like, it's gonna cost you $16,000 to replace that. But I had someone that was like, I'll get you one brand new whatever for just $4,000. I ended up paying that full in cash. That was nothing but God. But I'm going to tell you how he worked it out, because I was looking at what was coming in as income versus my bills, the car note, the car insurance, my daughter, my mom. And I'm like, Lord. And he was like, Mona, what you going to do? And I was like, all right, Father, okay. And he was blessing me with just loads, like boom, 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 boom. And it was only one last thing. So then, I was interviewing. Other people wanted to take me, and I was like, nope, I can't take this. And I ended up interviewing, I liked the person I was speaking to. I liked the way she was talking, her energy, and the company itself. And literally, I told her I wouldn't go under a certain mountain, and she was like, you got it. In half of a mile, left turn. Hold on, you guys. So in a nutshell, I said, okay. So I ended up, now I'm transitioning from what I was doing. Now I felt like I'm jumping off of a raft, and now I'm actually jumping on a boat now. So, y'all, when I tell you, when you, first of all, I asked God, and I don't want to skip a beat. I want all my bills, everything to be paid for. And I mean everything. When I tell you everything was paid for, and down to the credit card bills, all of that, car note, all of that. And I know this is going to sound real crazy when I tell you this, but the car that I got, the note is high. I'm in a $50,000 car. So the note is high. And when people, if you were to hear to see how much the note is, you'll be like, what the heck? But I'm telling you, God had me use this vehicle, and the vehicle made me money. Not that I want to be driving all over the universe. I don't. But at that time, it really made me money. It really did. And I'm really grateful. So there was one last thing that needed to be done. I've always paid I've never been late or whatever like that. But you know, when you in a house note, they give you a grace period from the 1st to the 16th. And I was like, dang, you know, like I'm basically, I'm out here and I'm sitting up here doing these dashes trying to make sure I have enough money to push this through because the other things were coming into play. And here I said, Lord, I need a miracle, Father. I really, really need a miracle. You know, your house note is due from the 1st until the 16th, right? And I was like, I am shy from 30 of $300. So I was like, let me see if I can do this real quick. I was I put my fingers to my head and I said, baby father, calling out to the person I married. I said, I need you to send this child support now. Like, I need something to happen. And I was like, I really need you to send this so I can send this house note off. And that's it. Like, I'm in the clear. I'm done. So let me tell you how God did this. And when I look and I think, I'm like, God, you did that. You did that. So I called my bank and I was like, if they deduct the money in a shy of 300, I don't want y'all to bounce it back because my first paycheck could be coming in and woo woo woo. So they was like, oh no, you'll be good. And usually when I make a payment anyway with my mortgage company, it'll take like 2 days anyway for it to clear out. Y'all, you know, when I went to check my account, I wasn't supposed to get paid until Friday. They paid me a day before. So I had way more in my account than I anticipated. And I was like, God, you did that. I'm like, Father, you did that. And then right on top of that, baby father came through. I was like, you got it. I'm like, y'all gotta understand. Summer has been and I even asked, like, what was all that for? Because everything that you go through in your life is a learning experience. Like, what was that for? Like, when that situation happened with my job, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I could run for mayor. I know you like, Mona, what are you talking about? I daggone near served everybody. Like, literally. I have served them with dropping off your groceries, dropping off the food you ordered, to moving you in to a daggone apartment. I have served you. I know what you eat. I know what type of fruits, vegetables, and I had to do what I had to do, you know, in order for me to jump off that boat. And I'm just so grateful because when that happened, when I saw it coming, I'm like, okay, Lord, I got a household, I got a baby, I got my mom, I'm just, you know, and then my grandfather passed away and I have an elderly grandmother and she really needed, you know, it's been times I spent the night at my grandmother's house, me and my daughter, and it was times where Symphony, I had to put her in the back seat and I'm like, let's do this. She looking at her shows and we doing Instacart. She thinking it's a game. And I'm like, you got to help mommy find these whatevers. But I say that to, now that I am in a better position at a better company. I went from, bottom line, the company I came from, they sinking because now you realize that the person that was there was actually doing all the work. And when you pulled that, you thought that everything was going to go smoothly. I found out it took them almost 2 weeks to figure out how to process people payments. That's $500,000 that y'all didn't process because somebody didn't know how to do it. And then y'all numbers dropped and tanked. Like, what did you think? So anyway, so when I started with this new company, the love that was shown was just crazy. I was able to shake hands with the CEOs and everybody that was like, welcome aboard. And my team is really good. My last team was really good too. The workload that I had at the last company was so crazy. And a lot of people would ask me, what have you learned from that? And I would tell them, shoot, I can do brain surgery. That's how much they work the girl. So this new position, it's a lot that you have to do, but it's nowhere near my last position. It's not even touching it, meaning report wise. So I'm grateful that God took me from that position into a better position. And then look at it, like, I remember my last job, when it came to Christmas bonuses, they $200. Huh? What? Or you didn't barely even get anything. You barely even got any sleep. They just ran you to the ground. But this one right here, like, y'all serving lobsters. Y'all take, my supervisor took us all out and everything to celebrate the new team. And she was like, oh yeah, watch when you go to the black tie events. Like, I love stuff like that. So I have to share that testimony. And then how God just, I went from, I was worried at first, and I was like, nah. I just kept pushing through, and I was just like, okay, Father, Lord, you gotta lead my footsteps. But I'm telling y'all, I was shy of 300 bones, and I was like, baby Father, I need you to deposit that child support. I need some support. Mayday, and don't get it twisted. I could have waited, only 2 days later for my check to come in, but I don't want my credit. I want my credit to be good. I want my on-time payments to show, and I've been on time. And I know things happen, but I was just like, nah. Like, there may not be another company that would match the company you're with. The thing is, the company that I left was a big name company, but they're starting to sell off all of their properties, and even the people I used to work with are no longer under them because they sold the property. But the people who talk bad and said the lies, it got back to me when I started my new position at, oh yeah, they demoted them and demoted their pay. I'm like, what? God was like, you see that, Mona? I will prepare a table before your enemies. And I will make sure that the news would get back to you, because I even had to ask God. I said, Lord, why am I going through this when I was the good guy? I was the good person. I was always kind to folks. I was always fair to folks, and people took advantage of that. Some people take advantage of you when you really nice. You know what I mean? But I was like, but why am I going through, like, why did I go from that? And I look back, because sometimes, first of all, before God is about to bless you with something big, he have to put you in a position to be able, I was already humble, but to be understanding to it. Because it'd be times when I was doing Instacart, and I'm like, okay, I really need this $30. I need to, like, and I was thinking to myself, like, how did I get here when I was making way more than this? You see what I mean? I was like, this can't be it. This just cannot be it. But God has a way, and I was just, it turned me off completely from the business because of the last management company. But sometimes God will make a way and open up a window where you would actually, not sometimes, he will make a way and open up a window where it will fit for you. I think I'm supposed to make it right here. So anyway, so in a nutshell, y'all, when I tell y'all, I had a really good time. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let me tell you something. God is going to make, I'm so sorry that you lost your job, but that means something bigger and better is coming down the pipe. And I know it sounds like, but what am I going to do? And let me tell you something. There is money to be made out here. You get what I'm saying? There's money to be made. I don't want you to ever think we get so complacent on one job, and we think that this one job is our lifeline. No, it's so many jobs out there that will fit you. You know what I mean? So, but I had to share that, because it was one of those things. And then, I felt like some people was looking to the side eating popcorn like, I can't wait to see this go down, thinking that, I'm going to lose everything. And I didn't. Y'all, okay, you got to understand, like, not only am I going the right way or the wrong way? Mona, I think you're going the wrong way. Okay, well, I'll figure it out. Not only was I able to, I maintain my home, my bills, my credit card, my car note, the other car note, and I'm trying to tell you, it was God. I don't have no man I could be like, babe, we're gonna be short this month. I really need some money. Like, I was literally like, Father, God, like, Lord, like, Father. And I'm gonna tell you something too. Like, I Amazon will have you in the boondocks. They had me in the wilderness. I was going through back roads. I was going places where I was just like, is anybody going to even know I'm back here? And the last straw was when I was like way in the wilderness, and I was going off. I was like, Father, I just can't, like, I can't believe, like, I was going off, like, no, this can't be it. This cannot be it. And literally, God he opened that door, opened that window, and when I went ahead and took it, I felt some type of way, like I felt like this is not on the same scale that I'm used to. But I'm gonna tell you something. The peace of mind, I'm not dealing with. I went the wrong way. Let me turn around. I'm not dealing with what I used to deal with, and I wouldn't even want to be put back in that position ever again. I heard that the new manager is going through it and everything, and I'm like, poor thing, you need to find another job, because you ain't gonna have no life working over there. But I have learned that God will make a way. The Bible says if a man don't work, he don't eat. He will literally make a way. Y'all gotta understand, it got to the point where I literally, when I lost my position, I applied for everything. I even applied for food stamps. When I was on food stamps when Symphony was like, a couple of months when her daddy left. But before then, I ain't never been on food stamps. But I knew, like, I make too much for that. I kept saying it over and over again. I make too much for that. Now I make too much. I'm not even, that's for folks that need it. And at that time, we did need it. But I thank God, like, I got out of that. And now I'm like, okay, and I'm back at getting my bag, and I want more. But God is so good, because, it was times that I didn't even have it. But I'm like, okay, but I'm a tithe anyway. And I didn't want my mom to know anything, because I'm the type of person that I don't want my mom to ever have to worry about anything. She's at the age right now, like, she shouldn't. I don't want her to ever worry about anything. Like, I want her to be comfortable. I want my daughter to be comfortable. My daughter never stopped going places. She never stopped being a part of things. As a matter of fact, I told her I'm going to surprise her this weekend, and we're going. So I'm taking my baby to Six Flags so she can get on these roller coasters and scream to the top of her lungs. But again, I say this where it may seem shaky, because it was nice. I was like looking at my bank account, and I'm like, well, how am I going to do this, and how am I going to do that? And God was just like, okay, Mona, what you going to do? And then, you know what he told me? He said, the money that you're getting, even though it's small, he said, all you got to do, Mona, is make this amount. And if you do that by 2, that's the same amount you've been making. And I was like, oh, it's literally calculations. But I'm trying to tell you, he brought me through. And coming from this company event, the way he topped it off with, oh, and you're going to eat lobster today, and you're going to have a good time today, oh, and your check going to come in today. And I did get the man that you married. I made sure that he sent that over as well. So when I look back at it, I'm just like, I literally was like, God, Father, you did that. Yeah, you did that. You did that. Like, you know, you just like, you did that. To the point when I looked at my account, the money hadn't even been withdrawn for my mortgage. I already put it in, but they didn't even withdraw it, so I was able to move that other money into it. So bam, I'm not even short. I'm never skipped a beat. Do you hear me? Never skipped a freaking beat. God knew what was going to happen before it even happened. Like when they was like, this is your last check, that was only enough to cover 1 month and just a little bit of stuff. But God was like, Mona, that's why I had Virginia to take out of your paycheck, because I already knew this was going to come down the pipe. So when they go ahead and give you your refund, you're going to pay for that HVAC completely, not owing no debt to nobody, have enough money to pay for your July. You're going to go ahead and do this stuff while I'm preparing the way for you. Like, he really did that. He really did that. And I'm like, God is so good. Cell phones. Y'all know I'm a realtor, right? I got to pay realtor dues. Okay? I think mine is like $350 every 3 months. And NVA, all that other stuff. I had to pay for that. All of that paid for. Never, did not even skip a beat. And I'm like, that was nothing but God. It was not me. It was not, I ain't had to call nobody. Do you think I can borrow? You know, some people was looking like, you know, eating popcorn, especially with my situation, thinking that the girl was going to sink. And I didn't. And I didn't. And I'm trying to tell you, God is so good. But just to top it off, it's like, oh, and you like going to like little events like that and being a part of, so, oh yeah. Literally, y'all, I don't even know when the last time I had lobster. And just to be invited in something and be like, oh, and we ordered you this too, and yeah, I was like, wow. I was like, God, when you do it good. God he'll take you out of something and put you into something better. Lesson learned, don't worry about a daggone thing. As long as you are trying action. You hear what I'm saying? As long as you put action behind your situation and you pray, because the Bible says no good thing will he withhold. He's not going to withhold anything from you that is good for you. He knows that the bill is due. He knows what you're going through. He knows. And I was just like, I was like, Lord, it was times I'm like, dang, this load is like $40 and it's over here. It was times where it was just like, I remember at one point in time, at the beginning of it, I was kind of freaking out. I was like, they didn't drill the hole through my mouth. I'm like, Lord, what am I going to do? Woo, 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 woo. I was going through a whole lot, and I was just like, what am I going to do? And like, he did that, y'all. He did that. And I don't care. Some of y'all be like, oh, that's nothing. I don't care. He did. God did that. Because I was like, okay. I called my bank. I was like, if just don't return it if they overdraft it, because money going to hit it. I was like, Father, I need a miracle. I just need a miracle. And then y'all should have seen me. I was like this. I was like this. I was like, I heard that, we all have this gift telepathically or whatever like that. So I was like this. I called his name. I was like, such and such, I really need you to send the child support now. Like, I was like, I need you to do that now. I do. But God was like, no, I'm not going to have him to do that now. I'm going to make sure you get your full paycheck. That's better than the last job that you were at. Oh, and the following day, I'm going to make sure he send that too. No, matter of fact, it wasn't even the following day. It was the same day. And I'm like, I was like this, y'all. God, you did that. You, Father, You did that. Like, you did it. Like, you really, like, I'm trying to tell you, I'm not exaggerating when I tell you. Do y'all see the miles on this car? Y'all see the maintenance required? Let me tell you something. I can do a daggone review on this daggone Sienna. What is this? 2001 Sienna. I could do a real review about this daggone vehicle. This car got me through some things. But I'm going to tell you, I feel like it's falling apart at the bottom or whatever that thing is underneath the car. I think it's the cover for the engine. I don't know, but it shouldn't be falling apart. But it got me through some things. But see, Amazon will send you out to the Himalayas. They will have you to go up to the mountains where you see billy goats and clouds delivering a daggone package. And I be sitting up here like, why is this happening to me? Like, why am I even doing this? This is not fair. This is, but I really believe that when God has you doing certain things, there is something to be learned about that. It will have you humble as humble pie, number one. I've always been humble anyway. And number two, you're more compassionate about other people's positions. And number three, if there is a will, there is a way. Because I'm going to tell you something. Between those three, they was paying the bills. Now, Uncle Sam wouldn't have getting the daggone thing, but I said, hey, y'all took like 25 from me last year, so, I'm going to just have to write that off. But I will tell you that it did it did it. And I'm just so grateful that I'm done with that. And now I'm not going to get comfortable. And another thing, too, in these positions, don't ever get comfortable and think that, these are here for you for the next 30 years and 20 years. Like I saw on YouTube, the guy kirking off and he was going off because he had, he put 30 years in the job and come to find out the pension has disappeared on him. And I was like, he was like, what do y'all mean? I gave y'all 30 years of my life. No, that was your choice. That was your choice. But I say this, and I say this, is that number one, you have to have faith too, that God is going to work it out. Don't look at depressing stuff. I was looking at, like, we become what we think about. I self-talk in my mind. I was like, Mona, you got it. You got it. You got it. Sometimes I wouldn't come home until 11 o'clock at night. Sometimes I wouldn't come home until like 1 o'clock in the morning. So, it was a grind. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not even going to fake. It was like, it was to the point I was grinding so much I wasn't even doing my yard work like that. But once I was seeing like all of the bills, everything was being paid, it was like and then when I calculated everything that I made from that, because remember, I left my full time in April. So April, May, June, July, and we're in August. God carried me that entire way, and everything was paid on time. Every freaking thing. Everything paid. Nothing. Credit card paid. Light bill paid. Water bill paid. House note paid. And when the minute they hired me, immediately insurance reinstated. Tell me that ain't God. Daughter got medical, dental. I got the best medical and dental. I already had like my own dental that I pay out of pocket. Tell me that's not God. And I was literally only working with a couple of $100 that was supposed to be coming in. And tell me that was not God. Like, God really worked it out. Really worked it out when I thought like there was no way. he really worked it out. And then of course, when you deal with a company that you put so much in, you got to be very careful for the next company that you're about to deal with, because you don't want to go, you would much rather figure it out before you jump from the frying pan into the fire. You get what I'm saying? You don't want to go to a stressful job to a way stressful job. But I'm gonna tell you, all that driving around, I will say this though, I kind of got up the way I wanted to. Now I'm on a schedule where I have to be up at a certain time. But it has definitely taught me to be very self-sufficient, and be very creative too. And it was times like for instance, I had did a load for Instacart, and the load was paying like $23, and I had to pick up like 13 items. And I'm like, oh, I know this store really good. I can get in there real quick and make that money really quick. And I put my all into it, y'all. I delivered the groceries. I took it out of the car, and I felt really good. Like some of the stuff I had to replace because they didn't have. Do you know, when I went to cash it out, the person took, I didn't even realize it was a $16 tip. The person took the entire tip back and gave me 1 stars. I think I looked like, I was like, blink, blink. I was so upset. I was like, I did all that work. It really gave me a different perspective on Dashers, Instacart carriers, because some of these people are really out there, really trying to make money. And when you be like, I ain't giving you no tip, or you took back the tip, and you already delivered it. You can't even contact the customer to go in on them. And sometimes some people be like, I didn't get it. And I'm like, yes, they did. You see this photo right here? It was just like, why am I even, I was like, Lord, what is this all for? Sometimes God will have you doing things just to put you in a waiting room until what you're supposed to go to, it opens. You get what I'm saying? So, all I gotta say is just be encouraged, and he will never leave you. He will never forsake you. And it's, even it was to the point, like my mom, she has my daughter. So, I, make sure she has gas and stuff like that. Like, I'm able to go ahead and bless her because she's a blessing to me. But my household is, you know what I'm saying? Cats never stop eating. It was just like, wow. Like, God was like, Mona, you're going to be fine. I'll never leave you. I won't forsake you. All your bills, I put you in that house. So everything is going to be paid for. And at first I was like, but Lord, look at this. And I'm looking at the car that, I got. And I'm like, oh my gosh, And he was like, what you going to do? And I was like, I was in this giant driving. I'm talking about, y'all, I drove in a storm all the way in somewhere in Maryland. Now I know why they call it the Eastern Shore. I said to myself, and I'm delivering packages, and I said, is that the ocean? Are those waves? Like, I was in the middle of nowhere. Like I told y'all, I had to help that baby Billy goat get back under the gate. I'm seeing horses, cows, chickens. I'm walking in like the bayous. Like, I couldn't even believe Amazon. You know what? Amazon CEO, I don't know, they trifling, because when you take on these loads and they'll tell you, oh, this pays $100, this pay that. Some of them loads need to be $200-300. Because they don't care about your car. They'll have you on a back road where the freaking road ain't even a road. It's just straight gravel, hurting the mess out of your vehicle. But, I was like, a mama's got to do what a mama's got to do. Father, can you please make sure that the wheels are held together? It was Those situations. And I remember one time I took a load to deliver some groceries. I said, oh, this thing not going to be far. Y'all, it was so far, so deep in the country at nighttime that the deers were looking at me like, girl, what the heck are you doing around here? You know you in the country when there's no street lights. You know you in the country when the roads don't even have street lights. You know you in the country when you pull up and the deers are just chilling. Like they just playing cards. Like she must be lost. And then the person like, please just go ahead and put it on. Please just go ahead and put the groceries on the thing. And I'm like, you didn't even bother leaving the porch light on. I'm shaking and I'm like, let me try to text my cousin to give her the address because I'm in the middle of nowhere, y'all. I'm trying to tell you, I am so happy I made it through that phase. There was a lesson that I learned from that, from all of it. Number one, I really don't want to ever do that again, okay? Number two, I tipped before, but I'm going to be tipping even more, okay? Um, and number three, there's a divine time for everything. And I still believe that I'm not finished from that because I had to ask him, like, Lord, I went from this to this, you know. And I had people because they saw me with a vest on treat me horribly, like I'm the help. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the beginning, I was giving my business card, you know, my real estate stuff. But then, like I said, you know, some of these people weren't qualified. And I'm like, okay, the bill is still coming around the corner. I need money to make sure I'm paying it, you know. But anyway, I had to share that testimony. I have really had to share that. I was able to take my baby fishing. Y'all remember that I cried about that daggone fish though. But I was still able to do and spend quality time with her. That was one of the things that I did like, is that as long as she had her shows on, like she has her little DVDs that she's looking at, her snacks in the back, and I just we run in there, get the groceries, put them in the car. She felt like this was just wonderful. And I was happy that I was spending quality time with my daughter. So it was just being very creative. But I'm going to tell you something, like God opened another door that was way better than the last one. And then when I'm at my new desk, I get a phone call from an old employee who basically told me everything that was going down. And I said, what? He was like, man, the numbers have dropped. Bills got cut off. I said, really? Tell me, look, tell me more. Sipping my tea, tell me more. And then, you know, such and such, they demoted the person. I said, ooh. And demoted the pay. I know that had to be embarrassing. I know that had to be embarrassing. And God was like, Simona, everything, when people dig a ditch, they fall into it. Because see, when you're not there, I removed you because I wanted them to understand that you belong to me and that your worth, you're going to understand. God removed me, and when he removed me, it all fell down. It all fell down. And now you realize everything was running smoothly when she was here. You removed her. Now all of this mess is going on. What the heck is going on? You know, and I'm just like, I'm never going back to anything like you or back to that ever again. So anyway, I say this, that God, no matter what you're going through, God will work your situation out. And I know, like, you know, some of us, and, you know, you go from this 6-figure job and then you're just wondering, like, what is this, you know? And it's not like I had anybody that was like, you need anything? You need a couple of dollars? You need some help? You know, let me know. I didn't have any of that. And I wasn't looking for any of that because I've always been the very independent, always do it on my own type, whatever. But I'm going to tell you, I was like, Father, I'm like, Lord, I fasted. I fasted. Even when it was time for me to go, I was still fasting. And I asked God to give me a better position and to pay all of my bills, to pay every last one. And you know what he did? He gave me a better position, and he allowed me at my new position to get the news that I didn't even ask. I just got this text message and a phone call about what was going on. I'm like, what? And then allow me to go on to where some people actually stood up. I met the entire team shaking hands and welcome to the team. Like, I felt like really great. And then I really like my supervisor because she's a go-getter. She's very fun, and she's very skilled and at the same time very poised. And I'm like, okay, that's somebody I can learn from. And overall, like, I've heard nothing but great things about the company. So I'm just really excited about that. Because at first I was just like, I ain't never doing that ever. I don't ever want to deal with it again. Because it did put a sourness. But I heard somebody say this, and then this guy is really good. I listen to him a lot on YouTube, and I forgot his name. He made a book about the something of the 7 pillars of power or something like that. I don't know, but it's about the workplace and everything. And I saw something that said that when folks let you go, when they have let CEOs have been fired before presidents, and they went on to become even more successful later on, and they didn't let those things stop them. I remember meeting an old coworker, and let me tell you how I met her. I walked in the office when I was doing my Amazon thing or whatever, and she was like, hey, and I had just spoken to her not too long ago when I was a manager at my last position, and I told her what I was doing. I gave her my realtor card and everything, and I asked her how she was doing and had she spoken to one of our old coworkers. She was telling me that when she got let go from the previous position that she was at years ago, she went to drinking really badly. And I'm like, what? She's always been a church going. She said she was drinking really bad. And she had some words with the old co-worker that she used to be tight with. And ever since then, they never talked. She said she lost everything, house, this and the third. And I thought about it. And I was like, see, through it all, I made sure, number one, I'm not if I sip occasionally. I didn't want to be drinking no alcohol because I didn't want anything that was going to have me emotionally, like, well, worried or anything like that. I needed to be very, very focused. So anyway, I really look back at her situation. When people worry, they tend to go to substance, and then they spiral down there. So my suggestion, don't drink no alcohol, don't drink no wine, stay focused. Cast your cares before God, okay? And he's going to show you and lead you out of it. He is. Because I'm going to tell you, he never skipped a beat. And then when I look back at how much I made, I laughed so hard. When I calculated from all those things, I laughed so hard because he was like, you made way more than what you made way more than what you was when you was working. I was like, Father, I was like, wow, So anyway, let me get up in here because I'm hoping and praying. Well, I'm hoping that they still have because it's pool season is basically over, but I'm hoping they got some pool shark I can buy up in here. And then I'm going ahead I'm going to go ahead and get ready, but let me tell you something. There's a lot of jobs out here that are like, just do what you got to do. God is going to make a way. Everything is going to fall into play. I know that some things it can look very wearisome, and you're just like, Lord, where do I go? He'll lead you, he'll guide you, he'll show you. There's enough money to go around to pay your bills, and he'll show you how to get it. He'll he'll do it, because sometimes I was just like, and I remember it was milestones too. So when I would hit my quota, I celebrated. I took myself out to the movies, or, did something fun. But I was just like, wow, Lord, like, he was just like, you gonna be fine. And literally, the way that this position was, because at first I was like, nah, I can't go under. And she said, I got you. I literally had a phone interview. Then right after that, she said, somebody's going to be reaching out to you. Please answer the phone. Right after that, I'm thinking they were going to call me that Monday. The same day, the person followed up and interviewed me. It was another person with the same company, like the second person that wanted to speak to me. Then right after that, she called back and said, we want you for the position. I was like, when can you start? And I was like, the 1st. And when I showed up, I'm thinking it was going to be, no, they made me meet everybody and do all the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? From the payroll to the medical to whatever, like, bam, you're in. Thank you. We got you. I was like, wow, I kind of felt like, how you feel it. Management is like football teams. You trade and pick and choose what quarterback or whatever running back you're going to get. So I feel like I'm with a really good team. And so I'm just hoping and praying that I would do my work, do it very well, very, very, very well. And the cool thing is that I know the system, and they just got into the system. So they're learning they're learning the system that I already know. And but yeah, so that's been a journey for me, and that's the reason why I haven't been really talking, because I've been out here. I'm trying to use another word other than grinding. I've been out here getting it. Loads. That was like deposit. Okay, that was just, and it was nothing but God. But I'm grateful that's done. But I was like, man, it was something. I mean this. I know I joke, but I really can run for mayor. I really can, because I have served everybody around here. Really. I mean, it was times where somebody ordered 240 bottles of cases of water, and I'm like, all of these steps, don't she got a man? She need to come down here. And they're like, she's pregnant. And I'm like, her man should be home. Yeah. But then God was like, you said you wanted to lose weight. I was like, that is true. So I was toned this summer. You know why? Because I was literally picking up loads. But anywho. So it's a lot of things. It was a lot of things to be, learned. But anyway, stay encouraged, and through it all, learn how to laugh, because there was times where I cried, and I was like, this is not happening. There was times where I'm thinking, and I'm going to tell you about Amazon, okay? If I chose the Amazon in this location, you would think, oh, they're going to hand me around the way. No. They would send me out Solomon's Island. They would send me in places that I didn't even know exist. One guy was like, where you from? And when he said, where's that? I said, I'm in a rural area here. Like, some of these people, they're in trailers on plots of land, like huge land. One place I went to looked like a compound. Like, as soon as I went through the gates, the freaking house was absolutely gorgeous, but it was like the water was all around. Like, where were they sending me? They were sending me, like, literally, they'll have me pick up these packages, and I'm driving 2 hours away to go somewhere. And some stuff I'll be like, no, As soon as you pull up, it'll be like, tow that owner's on the spin. I'm like, I ain't doing that. You want to come down and get your package, ma'am? You can come and bring it up. This not say, first of all, I'm contractor here. I'm not going to lose my vehicle for this package. You either come down and get it, or I'm taking it somewhere else. I've learned a lot. I have learned a lot, but I thank God that is over. I really feel like I did a summer camp job this year. I don't even know. Again, I say this because I was like, I really should run for mayor, because I have served. If I picked up you some food from Krispy Kreme's, if I picked you up some food from McDonald's, if I picked you up food from Instacart, and sometimes it'd be an older person that couldn't make it downstairs. And I remember one time I was going up all them steps and stuff, and the door finally opened, and there was a man in there, and I'm like, really? Thank you. You saw me struggling, and I had to tell Instacart, like, look, I'm not going to be breaking my back. Y'all sending me loads that got like 80 cases. So again, I felt like that part was the physical side of it, but the other part, I really learned how to humble myself. Again, I have done years ago, I have done Uber, where I had people in the car and I would take them home safely. I've done Lyft. I have done DoorDash. I have done Instacart. I have done what's the other? Amazon Prime. And Amazon don't care. As long as you get out there, they don't care, man. They wrong, they don't care. Like, I remember I had to go up to this house, and a steep house. The half of the daggone road was missing. I was driving, and the whole tree fell on the man's car while the man was in it. And I was like, no wonder why my load was late, because that probably could have been me. And God was like, no, Mona, hold back, stay back. I was like, okay. I don't know. I could tell y'all stories, and you be like, for real, Mona, for real. Going through, people be like, be careful, all right? Because you in the bayous, you places where your GPS don't even work. Been through it, but I'm gonna tell you something. God is so faithful, because through it all, it paid the bills. It paid the bills. Anyway, and then now, it taught me something. I was literally like, It taught me something. But anyway, I wanted to share that. So I'm back at it again, and I'm back on a 9 to 5 right now. And so, it's not gonna be permanent. You get what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is I'm gonna still make extra. And it definitely teaches you to be entrepreneur, because you like, okay, I gotta pay these bills. And I still pick and chose the jobs, and I was like, I'm not doing it. Nope. There was one property, their delinquency was $1 million. And I'm like, how does anyone even have a job if your residence $1 million and you want me to nope. But anyway, be encouraged. Take your petition before God. Let him know what you want, what you need. And he knows it, because I was like, Father, this is what's going on. And when I fasted for 21 days. And I fasted and I asked God to pay everything, put me in something better. And he did. So in the midst of that time, I got my Maryland real estate. I already had my Virginia. I was reinstated. Everything was reinstated. And then didn't skip a beat. Still had an awesome summer. Ended it off with a bang with a new company, eating lobster. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day. And Brittany, you be encouraged. Because watch, something better is going to come. And it's going to be better than what you came from. And you're going to be so grateful that you left that position. Anyway, y'all have a blessed night tonight.